Hey guys, welcome back to another reaction video with your girl here, Secret Files 888. I'm so happy to announce that we're almost at 500 subscribers. So make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button and dropping an alien emoji because we are going to be having a Amazon gift card giveaway as soon as we hit 500 subscribers. So make sure you're sharing these with your friends and family. And yeah, let's jump right in. Let's go.
Have you seen the codes hidden all over Oppenheimer?
8, 7, 6.
Okay, this is your conspiracy theory film friend, and I'm here to tell you that I saw something really interesting on the movie poster, and it made me start going down a rabbit hole. So first, before we get to the movie poster, let's look at the title, Oppenheimer. We're going to be using the Chaldean numerology system from ancient Babylon 4,000 years ago. Just stick with me. Christopher Nolan specifically chose this title, Oppenheimer, rather than the title of the book which he based his screenplay off of. The title of the book is American Prometheus. There's a lot of really cool Greek mythology around that, but let's not get into that. Stick with numerology. Oppenheimer, spelled out in numbers, equals 55. That master number is the charismatic leader, also known as the sun, that which radiates in leadership, which is really interesting because Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb, which mimics the sun. The 55 in shadow form is the pursuit of ambition despite the consequences. And if you see the movie or know the story of Oppenheimer, then you know. 55, every master number associates with a major arcana in the tarot deck. It's the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fate, which symbolically, in so many ways, represents the cause and effect, the forces at work in our universe. This charismatic leader that harnesses the power of the sun and represents the Wheel of Fate, the causes and effects, the quantum physics of our universe. Okay, let's keep going. What about Robert, his first name? His first name is actually Julius, but everybody calls him Robert, so for this purposes, his first name is Robert. That's what everybody calls him. You do it numerologically, 22. What is 22? The master builder. He or she or they who built something that's never been built before. What is the tarot card for 22? It is the Fool. The fool who is engrossed in a childlike imagination and has the ability to see beyond our world. That's even quoted within the movie. But if you look at the card, it is the fool who puts his step, his toe, right on the precipice, the edge, about to step into the void. Oppenheimer's greatest moment was the Trinity test, the first detonation of an atomic bomb. Trinity, father, mother, child. The sacred union through love that creates the miracle of life. In our distorted framework in the Kali Yuga, if you want a video on that, we can do it. What's the opposite of the creative life force? It's the destruction. It's the atomic bomb. What's the date of the Trinity test? It is 7/16/1945. Numerologically, it is 33. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 for this. I don't have enough time. But let's take a look at the movie poster. It's the gateway. It is the clues that lead us to this, and it's got even more juiciness for it.
All right, let me know in the comments below. Did you guys see this movie? Was it any good? Do you recommend it? Should I watch it? It looks like it might actually be kind of good. So, yeah, let me know.
The White Pope, you know, Pope Francis, leader of the Vatican. But I'll bet you've never heard of the Black and Gray Pope, who are by far way more powerful than the White Pope. The Black Pope is Father Arturo Sosa, and he is the general supreme leader of the black nobility and the Jesuit society. The Jesuits are in charge of the Israeli government. The Gray Pope, however, Pepe Orsini, is the head of the 3 most powerful families on earth, the Orsini family. Rothschilds and Rockefellers even bow and take orders from him. Even though they're the same family with different names, they all control the world. But Pepe is in charge.
Revered in Tonga mythology of the Zambezi Valley, is central to the beliefs of Tonga people in Zimbabwe and Zambia. Described as snake-like with a fish's head, Nyami Nyami is believed to control life around the Zambezi River. This deity symbolizes protection and guidance, playing a crucial role in rituals and lore. Legends say his separation from his wife due to the Kariba Dam's construction caused floods in the 1950s as he sought to reunite with her. Nyami Nyami represents the balance between nature and human life, highlighting the deep respect the Tonga have for the natural world and its spiritual inhabitants. Additionally, Nyami Nyami is invoked in cultural narratives and art, symbolizing resilience and an enduring bond between people and the environment.
Some call it Scary Gary, but it was once named the Magic City. Gary, Indiana is almost completely abandoned. With over 13,000 buildings left to rot, 1993, Gary was named murder capital of the US with 3 times as many murders as Chicago. Although it's one of the most dangerous cities, Gary was my favorite to explore, mostly because there's no one there to bother you. A few things I found in Gary, Indiana: a Lamborghini replica, crystal clear water inside of a high school pool, and a lot of abandoned schools. We even found an abandoned stadium.
Earth will soon be hit by the biggest solar flare in 6 years, and it could spark massive power outages. An enormous Class X flare, the biggest our sun is capable of, erupted on the sun this Friday. The bombardment of radiation has already caused temporary radio blackouts across South America, but the danger isn't over as officials predict that Earth will be hit by a huge solar storm from December 17th. Luckily, the flare was not directly facing Earth, so we will likely only receive a glancing blow.
This deer is already dead, it just doesn't know it.
Deer that have this disease right here are known as zombie deer, and this is because even though they're alive now, they won't be for very much longer. This clip right here shows a deer that looks relatively normal, but it's behaving very erratically. It's repeatedly running around in circles, it's very disoriented, and not afraid of the human recording it at all. This is all in part due to an absolutely terrifying disease known as CWD, or chronic wasting disease. Now this disease right here is caused by misshapen prions. These are not bacteria or viruses, they don't even have DNA in them. CWD has been spreading more and more in the wild from deer to deer because it's very easy and prions live for a very long time. It's also relatively easy to spot a deer that has CWD because they usually look pretty malnourished and very disoriented without having any fear of people. With that being said, even though CWD hasn't been shown to directly be transmitted to humans, it is highly recommended that you do not consume meat that's infected with CWD. So if you see a deer doing this, you should probably call your local wildlife agency and report it.
Information is harder to find than you think. It's secret codes. Like even when Jay-Z gave a little bit of codes on 444, there's people I know that tweeted or were texting each other like, he's giving codes away. He's giving
all the glaciers are fresh water because it's frozen rain.
Right.
Here's something that no one talks about. When the glaciers melt, where does the water go? Where does it go? Just tell me. You know the answer. Just
into the ocean?
Back in the ocean. Okay. So, but this is now non-salty water going into the ocean. So you're mixing fresh water with brackish water, and they occupy different places in the vertical profile of the ocean. And because salt water is heavier than fresh water, so fresh water occupies the top.
Right.
It's not as salty as the water at the below. And there are circulations in the ocean, not only up and down, northern latitude, southern latitude, like the Gulf Stream. There's also circulation top to bottom. And the combinations of all these circulations create the stability of the ocean. If you disrupt that, oh my gosh. There are animals, fishes that can't live anymore where they used to be because the salt level is different. And so some animals might go extinct. Some weather patterns will change because the ocean affects climate.
The population of our planet is no more than 500 million.
And we're willing to kill 7 billion.
Well, most of those lives aren't worth living. Massive humanity in Africa, India, China, they live in squalor. They'd be better off dead. The world would be better off without them.
And America will be first.
Yes, well, as our friend Henry Kissinger said, a strong America is the only thing standing in the way of a new world order. We have foreign troops on the ground now, under the UN banner. The country only needs a little chaos.
The American people are resilient. What's to come if the citizens rise up?
Yes, well, when parents see their children starving, and families hauled away to FEMA camps for imprisonment or worse, then yes, we expect some resistance. At first. But the vanity of nationalism will quickly fade. The people will beg for help. Any help. These are but the birth pangs of change. Birth pangs of a new world order.
Earth is a realm. It is not a planet. It is not an object, therefore it has no edge. Earth would be more easily defined as a system environment. Earth is also a machine. It is a Tesla coil. The sun and moon are powered wirelessly with the electromagnetic field, the ether. This field also suspends the celestial spheres with electromag levitation. Electromag levitation disproves gravity because the only force you need to counter is the electromagnetic force, not gravity. Now, there are fact-check websites all over the web saying that Nikola Tesla didn't say this. But who fact-checks the fact-checkers? I'll bet the same people that told you were in outer space are the same people that own those fact-check websites. If you haven't learned by now that history is being written by the conquerors, and that history is his story, meaning whomever's telling it, this page ain't for you.
Has anyone else seen this? This is just mad.
Okay, tell me this looks just like the conspiracy iceberg, because it basically is, right? Like, this is like definitely a part of it for sure. I'm gonna be dissecting all of these.
I know you guys love her, but can we talk about some of Chrissy Teigen's disturbing old tweets? Now, some of these are just reactions to the show Toddlers and Tiaras, but they're a little creepy. Like this one saying, seeing little girls do splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. Girl, what? And this one that goes, water slides that go through a Shark Tank? Time to get my blank on. Huh? Then she compared a baby to a P-star. Why would you even make that comparison? And then another tweet saying, I'm about to Anthony Weiner this kid. I just want y'all to know that Anthony Weiner was a politician who went to prison because he got caught talking to minors. And in Toddlers and Tiaras, I guess there was a little boy who finally joined the pageant. Chrissy decided to tweet, finally some eye candy for me. Make sure you follow me because part 2 even gets more disturbing.
Hey, maybe Tekashi was onto something.
You think Snoop Dogg is a rat? What you mean by that? Look at this camera. Cause Snoop Dogg got to order protection on Suge Knight.
What you mean he got to order protection?
He got to order protection on Suge Knight in the 90s.
Well, Snoop would never come.
You know, we beat a murder trial for him, but then he was on probation, then he got caught with guns. And each time it's nothing, they're not gonna violate him. That's because he's an informant, he's a rat, a snitch.
You guys know about Snoop's altercation with Tupac right before his death?
They went to Vegas, and I didn't want to go to Vegas because the vibe wasn't right. So I went to Warren G's house. There's no dream of making an album with Biggie and Puffy, or none of them. We're not sweating it like that. This is our family over here. We peacefully coexist. This is our family over here. We peacefully coexist.
Tupac said there's no dream of making music with Bad Boy Records. Snoop Dogg agrees. But the very next day, Snoop goes on a radio show and says this.
So I ain't got no issues with Puffy and Biggie. I want to do a song with the niggas. Why the f*** did you say that? Because that's how I felt.
Which really makes you question the relationship between these two. Because look at this video call right after he gets the ownership of Death Row Records.
Congratulations, King. Hey, great move, great move, great move. You taught me how to play chess, not checkers. Oh man, one of my greatest students. Every time we sit down with each other, we chop it up, and then we go our separate ways. I'm watching. I'm trying to make you proud. Yeah, man, I'm super proud. I was like,
because nobody thought we would show up here.
You taught me how to play chess, not checkers.
There's no dream of making an album with Biggie and Puffy.
This is our family.
We peacefully coexist. This is our family. We peacefully coexist.
Decision that I made to live. So I ain't got no issues with Puffy and Biggie. I want to do a song with the niggas. I'm trying to make you proud. You taught me how to play chess.
Both dimensions are meshing together.
Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were shot in the head. Now it gets really weird. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, was born in 1939. Now hang on to your seat. Lincoln was shot at the theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car called Lincoln, made by Ford. Lincoln was shot in a theater and his assassin ran and hid in a warehouse. Kennedy was shot from a warehouse and his assassin ran and hid in a theater. Booth and Oswald were assassinated before their trials. And here's the kicker. A week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
This movie is closer to reality than we think.
Look, lady, we're in trouble. The whole world's in trouble. They're all around us and we never knew it. You can only see them with these special glasses. I swear to you, we're being controlled by these things. I don't know what they are or where they came from, but we gotta stop them.
All right. If you want me to look through your sunglasses, I'll look through your sunglasses. If I don't see what you see, I'm gonna see it anyway.
Take a look. Look! Look at them! They're everywhere! You ain't the first son of a bitch to wake up out of a dream.
They use their tongues to deceive. The venom of snakes is under the lips. Mouths are full of bitterness and curses, and in their paths nothing but ruin and misery, and the fear of God is not before their eyes. They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful, and they have blinded us to the truth. Our human spirit is corrupted. Why do we worship greed? Because outside the limit of our sight, feeding us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners, they have us.
Hey, did y'all see this video that was released earlier this month? This is supposed to be a jellyfish UFO or UAP is what they are calling it. And it was shot by either a military plane or a helicopter. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, people. Look how it's just gliding over everything. And I mean, you see the camera is just tracking it, like following it the whole way. And you ain't gonna believe the response that NATO gave. Check this out. Listen to this.
News Nation reached out to the Pentagon and asked if officials would confirm the video's authenticity. They told us today that, quote, "We do not comment on the authenticity of alleged DoD material that may have been leaked. The Department of Defense takes the potential unauthorized disclosure of national security information very seriously."
So did any of y'all see that video of them like enhancing this with saturation or whatever they do with their editing, and they could actually see a face in that? Really cool, really cool. Like, I don't know, it looks pretty real to me. What do you think?
The flat earth ice wall, they call it Antarctica.
This has got to be one of the strangest videos on the dark web.
This video is currently the strangest ever posted on the dark web. It was posted anonymously, so it's impossible to get any more information. It's been the talk of the town, showing supernatural events. But a detail at the end calls everything into question.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
Want to break the internet? You asked for it, so let's go. Who is the Antichrist? One of the greatest mysteries, not only of the Bible, but really of our world since the beginning of time. Something that has stumped theologians, scholars, and even Nostradamus himself. Since the words were written in the book, the Bible, countless people over time have tried to figure this mystery out. The very same mystery we may have just solved today. I am just here to state the facts. Do with it what you will. But what if I were to tell you the name of the Antichrist may have been given to us already by none other than Jesus Christ himself, and none other than this book right here. But first things first. TikTok. This video is purely for entertainment purposes only. All facts stated are strictly speculation. Oh, let's go. But before we get down to the nitty-gritty of potentially the Antichrist's actual name, we will first need to run through some of the attributes. The attributes of the Antichrist that the Bible says he. That's right, I said he. The Antichrist will be a man. The attributes that he will have. Oh, and FYI, yes, the Antichrist is in this world as we speak, alive and kicking, and many believe is just raring to go, ready to be ushered into power. So first check, checked. He will be a man. Check. Second check, yes, he is very much alive. Second check, check. He will also be a political leader, either a current leader or previously a leader of a nation before. Check, check. How do we know this? Well, after the Daniel 9 7-year peace treaty is signed, which many believe is happening as we speak at the SDG summit, the signing of this peace treaty will usher in the new world, one world government, where all nations come together as one. And of course, this global one world government, it will need a leader. And they're not exactly going to offer this position, the leader of the world, to anybody whose resume doesn't have previous experience of at least leading a nation themselves. It will have to be a previous or current president, dictator, czar, do they still have those? Or king. You can't be a president of a book club or the regional manager of a Burger King. They're not going to give it to some Tom, Dick, or Harry. No, they're going to want a dictator for the one world government. So a man, check, with current or previous experience of leading a nation. Check, check. Currently alive and kicking in the world. Check, check, check. All right, don't shoot the messenger, but this next check is going to straight have you picking your jaw up off of the floor. As the next fact I'm about to drop about the Antichrist might not be something that a lot of people know. Hang on to your britches, bitches, because according to the Bible, the Antichrist, this man, will be gay. Daniel 11:37 explains this very clear. Neither shall he regard the gods of his fathers, nor the desire of women. I'll say what? nor regard for any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. Ego much? But yep, there you go. Pretty unrefutable facts. That was hard to say. Irrefutable facts. Still hard to say. Anywho, so a man, check. On this earth already, check, check. A previous or current ruler or leader, check, check, check. And a homosexual with no want or desire for women, check, 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 check. And to be honest, by the time we get to the end of this video, that last fact might make a little bit more sense. It might actually make a lot more sense, as there have been a lot of truths revealed just lately about a certain person. Well, you'll see at the end. If you know, then you know. He will also obviously not be a Christian. Shocked face. But he will also not be an atheist. I mean, if anybody knows God and Jesus are real, yeah, it's him. He will seek to be worshipped and exalt himself over God, but he will claim to be God incarnate, insisting on being worshipped by the masses. He will blaspheme God's name. He will display miraculous powers. And after the 7-year peace treaty is signed, the one that is prophesied in Daniel 9, he will be given full authority to reign. And that reign will last for 42 months, 3.5 years, at which time he will break the peace treaty. He will have full control over the world's economy, ushering in the one world currency during his reign, which many believe and speculate will be the mark of the beast. Again, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. All these facts are purely speculation, TikTok. We're just having fun. With this one world currency, he will implement a mandatory means for things like payments. Recent news has been all abuzz about a chip in your hand. I believe Amazon Prime already has that as well. But under this, with the one world currency, if you do not have this, you will not be able to buy, sell, trade, or barter, just like it says in the Bible. The chip in the hand, the mark of the beast, causing those who take the chip, the mark of the beast, to worship the beast, pledging allegiance to the beast, taking the chip in the hand in order to buy, sell, or trade. Now remember, guys, if you take the mark of the beast, that's a big no-no. Just don't. He will desecrate God's temple. He will turn on Israel after 42 months. He will cause Earth's army to fight against God's saints and the angels. And then his final destination, after all of this busy stuff that he's been doing, he will be cast into the lake of fire. So now we kind of know about the Antichrist, his attributes, his timeline, and his plan. Let's get down to why you're still watching. The entire point of this video. The Antichrist name given to us by Jesus himself. Who did Jesus tell us exactly in the Bible the Antichrist just might be? First things first, it is vital for you to understand one thing. Jesus speaks in parables through the scriptures. Parables are basically riddles, hints, and clues. You can't just read the words and simply leave it at that. Oh no. You must see beyond what is written on those pages. Through discernment of the Holy Spirit, you must have eyes to see and ears to hear. These parables are clues that must be deciphered. Knowing that Yeshua, Jesus, gave us all of the answers right there in that book, it is now up to us to decipher and figure them out. We are that generation that the Bible speaks of, the generation that shall not pass away until all of these prophecies are fulfilled. So who is the Antichrist? A man alive and well, a previous leader with homosexual tendencies. Come on, Auntie, just spell it. All right, okay, let's go. In Luke 10:18, Jesus said, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from the heavens." Now remember, Jesus speaks to us in riddles, and that beautiful Bible that you are reading in English has been translated from its original tone. Jesus spoke in Aramaic, the oldest form of Hebrew. So when Jesus said he saw Satan falling like lightning from the heights of the heavens, know this, a simple Google search is about to rock your world, just like it rocked mine months and months ago. What is the Hebrew word for lightning? The Hebrew word for lightning? Barak. Spoiler alert, I bet you can guess what the Hebrew word is for great heights. Oh yeah. High place or high places? Oh yeah, that's right. Bama. Oh, it gets better, because you know grammar and all. To link the two words, in Hebrew, they use wa, either a U or an O, as a conjunction. So if we were to translate into Hebrew lightning from heaven or of the heights, and we were to read that verse as Jesus had in Aramaic, in Hebrew, where he said he saw Satan falling like lightning from great heights or from heaven, it would actually translate to this. And I saw Satan fall like Barack Obama, instead of lightning from the heights. I saw Satan fall like Barack Obama. Yeah. At least in my book it does. Many things have come out about Barack Obama recently. Many. One of which is his name is actually not Barack Obama, but his actual birth given name is Barry Soetoro. Somewhere in his lifetime, Barry Soetoro became Barack Hussein Obama. And if this is true and his name really is Barry Soetoro, then did he, a man, a former president, who there has now been recently great proof is in fact and has been a homosexual man, choose the name Barack Obama, perhaps already knowing what we are all just now discovering was the actual name that Yeshua told us would be the name of the Antichrist? Did he really choose to change his name and call himself Barack Obama, knowing the scripture translation of lightning and great heights describing the Antichrist was in fact Barack Obama? Did Barry Soetoro in fact actually give himself the name of the Antichrist? It's not exactly the most common names. I mean, really, y'all, what are the odds of that? Yeah. Did we just crack the code of who the Antichrist might be? Again, I just give you the facts. Do with them what you will. Guys, Yeshua is coming back soon. Please repent, turn from sin, give your life fully to Christ. And I'm just going to have to leave you now with this. There's a towel down there. You get the drift. Mic drop.
I want to thank
God is the one and only true living God, the creator of heaven and the universe. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God.
Most people know at this point that Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and NATO overthrew the government of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, plunging the country into utter chaos. But did you know that you can actually read Gaddafi's theory for how he wanted to develop his country in what's called the Green Book? And once you do, you'll understand why the US wanted to overthrow this man. And no, it's not because he was a horrendous dictator who was murdering his own people and eating their puppies. In fact, Gaddafi spends much of this book laying out how the country's democracy will look and explaining that power needs to come from the bottom up, not the top down. The real reason the US wanted to overthrow Gaddafi was because of what he lays out in chapter 2 of this book, the solution to the economic problem, socialism. See, what Gaddafi did was barred multinational corporations from extracting Libya's resources and instead invested those resources in Libyan development. He created tons of jobs and social programs for the working people, which made Libya one of the most prosperous countries in all of Africa. He also planned to create a development bank for Africa so these countries would no longer be dependent on the Western-dominated IMF and World Bank. This would have greatly weakened U.S. power and the freedom of multinational corporations to exploit Africa's resources, and so the U.S. had to take Gaddafi out. I mean, they didn't have to, but they had to if they wanted to continue robbing Africa. And now Libya's been transformed from one of the richest countries in Africa to a country where slaves are being traded out in the open. They're in a perpetual state of civil war where warlords are fighting in the power vacuum that NATO created. But at least Africans don't have a development bank that can help them build infrastructure. Yeah, that would have been tragic for Western bankers.
So I remember when all of this happened and they were saying that it was just because of gold and stuff. And now it kind of makes more sense, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.
Have you heard this insane conspiracy theory that like 6 of the 7 astronauts didn't actually die in the explosion? And people say that they lived on saying that they were their brothers. And they said like 3 of them went on to become professors. 2 of them have the same name. 1 of them actually went by her middle name during the NASA and then lived on with her first name. 2 out of 6, that's 33% of them are twins.
You know, with all this talk of tunnels and underground bunkers being built, and all the stuff going on with Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs, I figured it was time I connect those 2 dots for you. For entertainment value, of course, because I know nothing and I'm just making this stuff up. Alright, now how many people have seen a video like this on their FYP? Well, what if I told you that that tunnel system has everything to do with the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as a whole lot of other things? Alright, well this starts with this guy right here, Lamar Hunt, who used to be the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, and his family still owns them to this day. Oh, and fun fact, He's also the guy that came up with the term Super Bowl. Well, what most people don't know is Lamar Hunt also had another project, and that's known as Subtropolis.
It's something out of a Jules Verne science fiction novel. A large working city operating deep underground as we go about our lives on the surface above. It's real, and it's right here in the United States. Harry Smith takes us to Subtropolis.
Inside a hill in Kansas City is a place you kind of have to see to believe. It's called Subtropolis. Decades ago, limestone was mined here for concrete and asphalt. What's left is space. A lot of space.
How much space is that? Okay, so what's down here right now, we have 6 million square feet of buildings leased to 55 companies. There's 1,700 employees that run around here and go to work every day.
It's a massive industrial park, all underground.
I mean, this is almost like a little bit like a science fiction-y sort of thing. Yeah. When you're down here, do you ever worry like the world could come to an end upstairs and you guys would just be down here toiling away, right?
Now, Subtropolis is home to some pretty big entities like the National Archives, as well as the EPA. And it's also the storage facility for some of the biggest films in Hollywood.
Let's start with the past.
We control temperature and humidity.
Thousands of film canisters holding some of the most beloved movies. They're here at the underground vaults and storage.
It's hard to believe. It's mind-blowing the scale that we have here.
A short drive away and you'll find not one, but two big businesses that save thousands of dollars on overhead because of the climate down.
Alright, Subtropolis is a rabbit hole all on its own that we can go down later if you want to. But what we're going to focus on right now is Lamar and his family history. Now, in his rise to wealth, Lamar was a partner in crime with his dad. This guy right here, Haroldson L. Hunt. Alright, now Harold was not only at one time a plantation owner, but he got his wealth from the oil fields in Texas, which at one point made him the richest man in America.
In Dallas, Texas, where millionaires are not at all unusual, this man carrying part of his lunch to work in a paper bag is something special. For among those who have amassed great wealth from petroleum, he has amassed by far the most. More than the Murchisons, more than the Cullens, more than the Richardsons, even more than the Gettys. He has no chauffeur. He has no private airplanes. He takes no vacations on the Riviera. He makes no significant grants to charity. But Haroldson Lafayette Hunt is the biggest of them all, the richest man in America. The richest and one of the most controversial.
Well, Haroldson not only did oil, but he was a big player in politics. In fact, he helped McCarthy start his presidential campaign. Here's where it gets interesting. Not only did he fund the McCarthy campaign, but he also funded the Cuban Revolution Council, which worked with the mafia and the CIA to take down Fidel Castro. And because of that connection right there is why a lot of people think he helped in the assassination of JFK. But of course, that whole situation worked itself out. And another motive that a lot of people don't know about for him being involved in JFK is because of his best friend, this guy right here, Edwin Walker. Now, Walker was an open white supremacist, and he was also in charge of the Arkansas Military District during a horrible time in our history called the Little Rock Nine. That's when the desegregation of high schools was happening in Arkansas. It's where 9 students tried to attend school and were met with all this. And it got so bad that where Eisenhower made Walker send the National Guard there. Now, Walker ended up being a commander in the infantry division in Germany. And when he was caught teaching his supremacy ways, JFK stripped him of his military status. So not only was there all of that, but a whistleblower also came out and said that she was at a party where Haroldson Hunt and Richard Nixon were talking about what was going to happen to JFK the next day. So all the way from the Kansas City Chiefs to the underground bunkers to the desegregation of schools and JFK, sure is a lot of dots. Y'all stay safe.
Bohemian Grove rabbit holes.
I went there once.
Bones.
I got kicked out.
Did you? You went to the Grove?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Why'd you get kicked out?
Fucking weird. Fucking weird. I punched a kid in the head.
You punched a kid in the head? In Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, it turns out this fucking kid was an infiltrator. So then after that, I was kind of this hero. Like a year or two later, he'd come back. I was like, I'm not coming to your little fucking weird party out in the fucking woods. I was like, I went once. It ain't that cool. We're sitting on this fire. You have these little, they're kind of like tree houses or campsites, but they're really nice. Everyone has a private chef. Got like, you know.
Really?
Yeah, you do share a room. Me and Jimmy John shared a room. That was fun. And I can't remember kids talking around this fire, and he just started popping that shit, and I just fucking went at him.
Oh.
Gave him a couple, helped him up. I was like, hey, we good? I was at the owl statue. This is fucking hilarious. So I'm there on day one, right? And we're drinking beers. Like, it's pretty laid back. There's some really cool talks. I remember this dude talking about shooting asteroids out that might hit the Earth in so many years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool. Oh, wow. But the first day, it was the first evening, and you gather around whatever, the owl by this lake, if I remember correctly, which could be a little hazy. It was a long time ago. And like, I've heard about this place. I'm like, this is some real secret ass shit, man. I can't believe I'm fucking here, right? And it's just a trove of celebrities, fucking everywhere you turn. It's just fucking A. So you go there, and I'm like thinking we're gonna hear some shit, right? They're about to introduce the first speaker, and I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be some shit. And they're like, and no offense against this guy, we consider him friendly. We have very good mutual friends, but they're like, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Danza. And I'm like, what? I'm like, come on, man. Who's the fucking boss? Tell them bitches. Wish you would have just gone up there and been like, who's the boss, bitch?
That's hilarious.
I was like, no fucking way, man.
And there you have it, my Cosmic Explorers. I hope that you enjoyed these videos. And if you did, please leave an alien emoji and subscribe so you won't ever miss another video. All right, until the next time, stay safe out there. Bye.